When we do coaching for like career advancement, one of the questions we often get asked is, my manager's in my way, what should I do? And that depends on what's going on. A lot of times I say be patient. Look at this world, we're a very instant gratification type of society. Man, we want everything to happen right now. And then a lot of times we go make some really fast moves without thinking them through. And you think you're taking one step forward, and then you take two steps backwards. Now, there are times when there's a manager in your way, and they're probably going to be in your way for a decade. And if you want to keep climbing, you're either going to have to find a way to go around them, or you're going to have to leave and find another position somewhere. The problem is, how do you step back objectively and say, I should leave or I shouldn't leave? There's a lot of people jumping on the Great Resignation right now, and they're just quitting their jobs and going on to the next thing, or some people aren't even going back into the workforce at all. But you got to step back. I did another episode recently about a conversation with a friend that works at the Fortune 100, and I try to give you insights into how those people at the much higher level, or the larger companies, senior managers, directors, and VPs, how they think before they make a change. And a lot of times we make emotional changes, we make irrational changes, we make knee-jerk snap decisions, and they end up hurting us in the long run. So you got to step back. Do you think your managers, are they going to move up in the next year or two? Is it possible that they'll leave at some point? Does the company know that the manager's only, decent but not great? You got to step back and analyze all this stuff, where you might end up getting an opportunity in another department. You might get an opportunity to leapfrog that manager. Or like I said, they might just be in your way for 10 years. They might be a lifer and not going anywhere. But you look at the average tenure of people right now, it's like 2.6 years, or that's what it was recently. At some point, there's people that stick around forever and they want to build something. And then there's the people that want to bounce around. So it's one of those things that if you, how long have you been waiting? Have you been waiting 5 years to get your shot? Then you got to ask yourself, do you deserve the shot? Maybe you're not ready to become a manager. We want a lot of things in life that we're not ready for. These are all things that you need to kind of calculate. Just jump into the next company may not solve the problem. Would you be willing to go to the next company just to get the title, just to find out that the company isn't growing as fast, or you won't grow as fast? Or maybe that company is just not going anywhere at all. Maybe it's a worse environment. Don't title shop. You got to step back and say, what am I learning? What's the trajectory look like if I stay here 24 more months? Keep in mind, 6 months goes by really fast. Even looking at COVID right now, COVID's been going on for almost 2 years. Snap your fingers. If you remember back to that March in 2020, it felt like it was going to last forever. Well, it's almost 2 years now. You have to process these things that while you're thinking about it every day, it makes it seem like it's been going on forever. So I say look at that and go, how long have I been here? What's my logical next step? What's the probability of the manager leaving? Is there any probability of me leapfrogging them? Or is the manager themselves stagnant and they've ran out of growth opportunity? It's okay to have these discussions with your hiring manager, or the person you report to directly, to say, what's my career path? Talk about the things you got to do to get there, the things you need to achieve. And I say that because we do live in a world where, when I talk to friends in the big corporate world, I use my, another buddy that's at a Fortune 500. A lot of the people in this department expect to get promotions just because they went to a certain college, or because they show up every day and they keep a chair warm. And that doesn't really work that way. It's, a lot of times managers are looking at not so much what you did yesterday, it's what you're going to do tomorrow. And I'm going to talk about that a lot, from raises to promotions to career advancement. While your track record means a lot, everyone's looking at you from the standpoint of what are you going to do tomorrow. So keep that in mind. If you have someone in your way, a manager, a director, a VP, from getting that next, it's sports the same way. You want to be the rock star. So are you better off being a number two? This is something else I talk about. You know, Scottie Pippen probably could have left the Bulls and went to another team and been the All-Star, but would he have had as much success as he had with Michael Jordan, for example? A lot of times you're better off being in the number 2 spot. You know, we don't always think about that, but it's one of those things that we want to be on top. We want to be number 1. We want the spotlight on us. That doesn't mean it's always what's best for us. So a lot of things you need to process. Keep in mind that time goes by. 6 months is not a lot of time. You have to think about that. In reality, 1 year, you might have 250 working days, add in holidays, add in vacation time and all that stuff. How many days are you actually at work? 230? You snap your fingers, that goes by. So you might feel like you're not growing as fast or you deserve that seat. Hey, they might even be a bad manager, and the company knows that. A lot of times I think companies feel, we deal with that on the recruiting side all day. Someone calls us up, they know they got to replace somebody. It's going to take them maybe 3 to 6 months to get that person replaced. That's just part of the game. Unless you're in that hot seat, unless you're in that executive C-suite and you know what's going on, it's hard running a business sometimes. So they might know that that manager's bad or that director's bad, and they're going to end up bumping somebody out. It's just, are you going to be patient enough? You shouldn't be patient for 10 years. It's especially maximizing time in your 30s, even in your 40s. That's the time to make some moves. You just hope the company you're with is going to give you that path to make the move with them. So that's all I got for this one. If you got a career question about advancement, about salary negotiation, about resumes, drop a comment, and we'll try to get that question featured on the show. Until then, we'll catch you on the next one.